right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another Brick by Brick live stream. I'm joined here today with CJ on behalf of, and CJ, you're gonna have to teach me some, explanations here. Is it pronounced Diem? Is it Diem? Would love to introduce you in, CJ. How are you doing today, man?
Yeah, all good, man. Whatever sounds good to you, DM, that's fine. Yeah,
Love it. I love it, man. And again, thank you to everyone that's tuning in super early. I see we are slowly growing in numbers already off the bat. Don't forget, guys, this is a stream. So we are live currently on X. So if you guys can repost, you guys can like, there is a little chat box for everyone that wants to ask some questions, share some comments on today's topic. I'm very excited because this is honestly my first time really tapping into what is quantum proof blockchains and what exactly does that mean? So if you're someone like me, someone new to this, get a pen, get a piece of paper, take some notes down. I think there's a lot to be learned today, especially here with CJ. But CJ, before we even get into things, if you don't mind just telling everyone here in the audience who you are and what your role is, tell us a little about your background. Give us a quick little pitch about yourself, man.
absolutely, man. Always love to start with that. I'm CJ, the founder at Diamante slash Diamante, whatever people like to say that. So this week, like you were mentioning about, a lot of people wanting to know about quantum, and the narrative has picked up, it has fired up. So Diamante is the only layer one blockchain out there which has a quantum safe security live in production. Sorry. So, on 11th of March, we did one of the most historical things that would ever happen in the Web3 space in terms of security and safety. We all of us know that Google has been posting those articles where quantum computers are going to be a big threat to the Web3 ecosystem.
Mm,
They can crack your private keys in like 9 minutes or so. And the same day, there was one more article that was published that like you'd require 20x less power in terms of qubits to crack the private keys. And that is something that, uh, scared a lot of folks in the Web3 space. Even CZ started tweeting about it. And we have seen a lot of entities, centralized exchanges, talking about it, forming alliances, forming, governances to make sure that in next coming years, they make sure that they are migrating to a quantum proof infrastructure. And that's what exactly we have done. We have hit the hard roads since last couple of years when we started, really building on the quantum safety into our chain. So that's an amazing thing that has happened in the Web3 space. Everyone has seriously started talking about, quantum security. It's not a thesis anymore. So, like a couple of years before when we started, it was like a thesis and, a big thanks to a lot of folks that has backed us, the team that has built the whole infrastructure in place, the whole chain came live because of them.
mhm.
So we have built a chain that has actually three virtual machines. So just to make it easier for the developers who are listening to us to make it in a simpler manner, like if you are developing on Ethereum, like you are using Go, you are using Java or Rust as a builder, yeah, you can deploy on one network and make that would make sure that you are building natively with the quantum security utilizing Diamante. So every transaction that currently happens on the Diamante mainnet that is live, it is quantum safe.
Mm,
The cryptography that we have built, it's a stand. It's like U.S. military standards. It's followed the NIST standards, like that was published in 2024 by the U.S. government. That this is how the quantum safety would look like, and it's a serious thing because when you look at it in a larger picture, when you zoom out of it, we have like 2.4 trillion dollars worth of assets with the current market cap. Approximately, they are sitting vulnerable to the quantum threats.
right, right.
So when we talk about it, like quantum is not coming someday; it's already here.
Mhm.
There are larger institutions. you're building quantum computers. So the good part of it is we don't need to be scared of it because Diamante is already here.
I love that. I love that conviction. And CJ, when you mention, things like quantum threats, and you mentioned that quantum threats, it sounds like a future problem, right? You just mentioned this number, 3.4 trillion dollars in assets in crypto. Um, so why should crypto holders care about this right now, right? Why should we start preparing ourselves for things like quantum threats potentially happening in the future?
It's not we are thinking of the future on the quantum side of it, on the quantum threats. So there is a concept, like I would like to give an example of it. So there is an attack that is called, harvest now and decrypt later. What does that mean?
Hmm.
So when you start harvesting all the public keys, the transactions in the blockchain, and whenever the quantum computers are ready, you can start decrypting that, and that would make all the assets on the chain vulnerable. So that's already happening. So if people have started harvesting it, that means it's a serious problem, and it's happening now. It's not later.
Mm-hmm.
As I mentioned earlier, right, that Google's like quantum AI team, demonstrated that a Bitcoin private key can be broken in less than 9 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's a single block confirmation that can be decrypted. So it's like not something of a future problem, but it's actually the problem right now. And when a lot of people are talking about the Q day and when it's going to happen, a larger institutions like BlackRock, they have like embedded the quantum risk warnings in the billions of dollars of asset they are holding in terms of ETFs. So I always like to mention it. You don't build a bunker when there is a threat or when there is a bomb that's going to explode. You need to build it before it explodes,
Yeah.
even before people start talking about the threat. So that's what is happening. And one important thing, I'm not sure a lot of people would have heard about it. The US FBI has designated 2026 as the year of quantum security.
Hmm.
You wouldn't require a bigger signal than that. Like, it's not a future problem, it's a problem of today, and that's what Diamond has solved.
I love this, man. And speaking from, like, I guess, like a market opportunity, right? Like, how did you see this? You mentioned that this is happening right now, but before you saw this becoming a reality, um, how did you position Diam to just be one of the first, companies to really attack this problem? And how did you identify that?
The thing is, the earlier version of the mainnet that we were live in, it's still running.
Mm,
So we built a layer that is quite hybrid. That means you allow institutional use cases and retail use cases to be built in a single layer, which would make easier for the liquidity to flow between institution and the retail. So those hybrid infrastructure was built, and then when we started thinking seriously about the security aspect of it, we had seen a lot of L1s coming and talking about the same shit, like my TPSs are higher, my throughputs are higher, but no one actually cared about the security aspect of it. So we conceptualized it. We spoke with our board of investors, the tech team, that we this is something that we should really think about it in a serious manner, and we started building it like a couple of years back, or even earlier than that. So that made sure that we ship a network, ship a product that is best in the class, the world's first quantum proof L1 out there right now. So when people talk about just white papers, conceptualizing, okay, this is something that we need to seriously think about it. When we think, when we see founders like Vitalik talking about developing a roadmap to quantum security in next couple of years or next 3 years, after the narrative becomes mainstream. So we at Diamante, we are setting the narratives. We are making sure that we are not following up on other people building. We wanted to make sure we are shipping a network that is ready, that is fast, and that is quite user and developer friendly to build an ecosystem that is quantum proof.
Yeah. Man, this is exactly where, playing ahead of the game, playing where the puck is going. I think this is very applicable to the scenario that you guys are going through. First of all, shout out to Jesus. I see him here in the chat. Shout out to everyone that's pulling in. Thank you guys for showing up. Don't forget, you guys can interact with that little stream link. Um, but going back, CJ, to what you're just mentioning, you mentioned that the quantum proof mainnet is now live, right? Um, what would you say though was the hardest technical problem you guys had to solve before the whole team and everyone felt confident enough to go live? So what were some of those few obstacles you guys were tackling?
We face a lot of obstacles, like to be realistically speaking about it. And, my CTO would be a better person to answer, like what problems that they face. But on a very lighter note, the most important problem that was evident is to make it, fast enough. Like when you talk about encryptions, right? When you talk about the current signatures, it's like all data in place. The current signature, like for Ethereum, it's like only 2.5 kilobytes versus when you talk about you making an encryption uh, that we have for the current encryption for Ethereum is, let's say, 64 kilobytes, and what we have shipped, it's like 2.5 kilobytes, so it's like 40 times higher than what the current encryption is. So imagine putting those encryption in place and building a network that is quantum safe. It requires a lot of resources and it has a lot of hurdles. So
Mm,
there are certain costs, there are certain server costs, there are certain bandwidth costs, and we don't want to build something that cannot be shipped and that cannot be shipped to retail users, right? And we need to make sure that the consensus, what we have achieved with this signatures, are quite achievable by a normal validating node as well, with less resources, and more participants would participate in it. And that's the ultimate goal. It's not about building a tech, because no one cares about the tech.
mhm,
Like
mhm.
people don't literally think about the tech when they start utilizing it. So what we have built, we built a three-stage pipeline. Like we have three different consensus and a single layer. So proof of history that we are utilizing for the ordering engine. Then we have delegated proof of stake for the validator selection. Then we have ABFD for finalizing the how the consensus would come into the place. So this made sure, utilizing this architecture in place, we are hitting more than 120,000 TPS in less than 1.5 seconds,
Wow.
and that are utilizing less resources than what Ethereum is utilizing right now as a full validator node. So it's more like an engineering problem that we have solved to make sure. And that's the reason, that would become make it more difficult for the current L1s out there to migrate to a new quantum proof or quantum safe infrastructure, because you would require those fine tuning in place and making sure that the existing consensus switches to the newer version with all the dApps running around, with all the transactions firing up. So that's going to be quite difficult. And that's why we wanted to take an early leap to make sure that we are one of the best networks out there and the best chains out there that people can rely on with their assets, with their wallets, with their dApps, on the safety and the security side of it.
I love this, man. And again, honing in on the security and also mentioning the resources, that's very important. CJ, you guys had ran a public test net before this. Um, what did builders and auditors kind of teach you guys that actually changed what shipped on mainnet, right? So what were some of those changes you saw in testnet and you guys applied to the mainnet?
Yeah, we had a very successful testnet campaign thanks to our whole marketing team and their efforts. and particularly the users who came and tested on it. Like, because without users, the marketing efforts are zero. So we saw more than 2.3 million users trying and testing out the network that we have. And it's not something, that it's just a stress test that we wanted to do, but it's actually made sure that all the TPS that we were, promising, all the signatures they were promising were quite validated in terms of the user utilizing it. And it has already taught us a lot of things. Like, when you talk about signature aggregation, I don't want to sound or make it more and more technical. When you start aggregating those quantum signatures, like when there are lots and lots of validators in place, there is an edge across the dilithium signature that makes sure we make a network that has an cross VM compatibility. So to build atomic transactions across all the three VMs, that has a big timing issue in terms of the synchronization. So when you're utilizing three different virtual machines, you need to synchronize them in a proper way. And that was something that was very challenging. And a lot of testnet users was utilize the sandbox environment, tested our network. You know, they made sure that we go beyond our ways to make sure that the mainnet is quite stable. And that is the reason, more than 49,000 people earned, different badges. So we named them as quantum badges. So we have like 49,000 people with quantum badges
Wow.
that, made sure our network and the systems are quite stable.
Man, shout out to everyone that, contributed a whole lot to what is the main net today. Um, yeah, no, these are huge improvements. And just a slight pivot to this conversation because, you know, I think from a developer perspective, I think it's clear to see that there are the same chains, there's the same workflows. Um, but how hard was it to layer quantum security on top of what's already existing without breaking what builders are used to, right? So this is more for the dev side of things, but how would you kind of approach that, CJ?
Yeah. To be honest, I'm not a developer myself. I don't have that developing background, but I have learned from a lot from my tech team and my CTO over the years. To make sure I'm just not on the developer side of it and the developer ecosystem. It shouldn't. It's the same thing what they have been building with, let's say, if they're using Solidity, right?
Mm,
Uh, whatever developer tools that you're using. Uh, so it would be the same thing, the same experience that you start, like, for example, Ethereum developer building Ethereum dApps. The only thing is the it would have inherent quantums cryptography and security in place. The coding doesn't change. It's only the thing change would be the security underneath it. So it's going to be quite simple because we have made sure it is quite simple so that you don't need to learn different things. It's like, let's compare it. Like, if you are utilizing a current version of MacBook and Apple throws in a new update, it feels the same
right.
with the additional security. So it's going to be quite simple.
Yeah. No, again, like respect for answering the dev question. I know there's very few founders in the space that are actually tapped in with the tech side of things. So, great response to that. Um, I was just looking through your guys' X before this podcast had gone live, and I noticed you guys had just closed a $1.5 million raise from Jefferson Capital and Minex literally this week. What does that capital unlock right now for you guys?
The thing is, as we started pivoting into the quantum safe or quantum proof, network, we have a huge demand of institutions because everyone in the space want to protect their assets, and it's not just a plain kind of a investment deal that has been done within Diamond ecosystem, but it's more like a strategic deal, and that is what we are focused on right now. So with the current geopolitical constraints and whatever is happening around the world, I would like to make it more simplified for people to understand how it's got more crucial with the current movement. So everyone would have heard about, let's say, rare earth materials and the minerals, right? Because the world is behind it. Everyone wants to, tap on the new tech, new AI boom, and rare earth materials are quite important. So Jefferson Capital and its founder, Hofez, a big thanks to him, a big shout out to him as well. Uh, he's a co-founder at Minex as well. So he and his team were exactly looking at, finding a chain that would make sure that the assets that are being traded that are quite critical have a quantum proof security in place. And that was the best thing for us because we as a chain are also more focused on bringing real life use cases, more Web2 ecosystem into Web3's place to make sure that we are tapping into the new users, we are growing the Web3 user base over the whole industry. And that's what made this deal quite lucrative for both the parties involved. So you would see three north side of $3 billion uh, dollars worth of transaction coming to the Diamante ecosystem. I don't want to reveal a lot of it, but one of the rare earth material, namely ferrochrome, the whole ferrochrome transactions that happens in the world, at least more than 50% of the transactions that is happening around the world in the ferrochrome ecosystem would be translated to diamond ecosystem. And that was something huge for us.
I love this, man. Shout out to Jefferson Capital for stepping in and honestly, playing a huge role in the contribution for what is a roadmap and the growth of this, right? Um, and also, I want to hone in on this side because this My Next partnership, it's very interesting because from what I've read, is this partnership is tokenizing rare earth elements on a quantum proof chain. So this is honestly the first of its kind. We haven't really heard these type of stories yet, really in narratives per se in crypto. So maybe can you just explain a little bit on like how did that deal kind of come together, and what does it signal about who your real target market is?
Yes, with the current times where security and safety is like the most important thing, particularly for institutions. So Minex is just one example, and you would see there's ecosystem growing more and more, and that's what we have like a bigger pipeline of those kind of partnership like Minex that was recently announced. So just to give a more perspective to it, like Minex operates in the rare earth supply chain, right? So that what it means is like they are shipping ferrochrome that are being utilized in multiple things, like for example the phones, the laptops that we are doing, and the microphones, so and semiconductor systems. And the market share is controlled 90% by China, and Minex has more than 50% of their volumes. So that's immense thing that we has been tapped in for the diamond ecosystem. So what we have built was quite validating for them, and that's exactly what they were looking for to make sure their supply chain remains intact, their assets become more and more tradable in a very safe environment. So those kind of business understanding translates into deals like this, and we have seen a lot of RWS coming to the diamond ecosystem. It's not about the narrative, but it's about the cushion that we provide in terms of the safety, being the world's only quantum proof L1, that makes a lot of institutions more and more eager to partner with us. And I think this is like first of its kind, institutional grade, commodity being tokenized on the quantum proof infrastructure. So that's actually history being made as of now.
Yeah. And that's what I mean, right? Like these type of first of its kind narratives is usually what brings a lot of new eyes, new audiences into this space. So I'm very, very eager to see how that expands. Um, To add on top of this, who is building on Diam right now, right? What kind of projects are showing up on Mainnet first?
So to be honest, currently we haven't had a lot of projects that are migrating on the mainnet right now, and the reason is pure us. We want to make sure for at least next 60 to 90 days that the core of the mainnet is quite stable. So we have started running few dApps, few internal dApps, like the payment ecosystem that we have that's called NitroPay, and we are vigorously testing it. We are vigorously testing with a lot of internal projects. A lot of bots are running on it. It's not ideal for a mainnet, but we want to make sure that whatever that we have built, the core that we have built is quite stable. So we have approximately more than 150 projects that were, deployed on the version one of the mainnet. So as soon as the code starts becoming more and more stable, it's quite stable right now, but as and when we get those confidence in place from institutions, from the developers, from vigorous testing, we would slowly start migrating a lot of uh, the current dApps in the V1 and the current projects in the V1 to the new V2 mainnet, that is a quantum mainnet. And that's when we are going to open a huge, partnership slash grant program where projects across different verticals. It can be RWAs, it can be AI projects. Any vertical can start deploying the projects that are fresh, and most importantly, people who are waiting to migrate to a quantum proof infrastructure can start easily migrating, utilizing our simple build SDKs. A great job to the tech team on building like one of the most simplest SDKs in place to make sure the migration from most of the chains out there becomes simpler, and it takes less than 48 hours to migrate your whole dApp to the Diamond ecosystem.
I love this, man. And I know Mainnet has just gone live. So, would love to see all the different types of projects that eventually migrate over for, yeah, the quantum proof chain, man. This is the new thing. Very quickly, since we are approaching the 30-minute mark here, we are approaching also 360 live views so far on today's stream, man. So, much love to everyone that, has showed up today. I see all the comments. Shout out to Roundtable. Super informative from CJ. Yes, I 100% agree. So yeah, look, I think we kind of covered as far as like the basics, the foundations, right? We're just covering right now the raise that you guys had made from Jefferson Capital and Minex. Now to kind of shift this conversation a little bit on the roadmap, the forward-looking side of things, right? Um, can we just walk us, CJ? Can you walk us through the roadmap? Let's just keep it to this year so far in 2026, right? What are some of the major milestones between now and end of the year?
So, as we are nearing timeline, so I like to keep it quite simpler and quite shorter. So, we have a very concrete roadmap in terms of the ecosystem that we are building. There are a lot of upgrades that are, time aligned over the span of this year in the quantum mainnet. You talk about privacy, you talk about smart contracts. So that's already under the way. And one of the biggest application that we are going to launch on the mainnet, it's going to be called DexPop. It's like lovable put together in pump.fun in a single application. So imagine the kind of excitement people would have. So you would be able to, wipe code your dApp, tokenize it on Diamante, and launch it on the PerpDex in the single ecosystem. So that's kind of a massive thing. People from Web3, Web2, all of them, then they can come, they can play it out, and there is a insane grant program associated to it. So if you're a builder, if you're a developer, just watch out for it. Q2 is definitely going to be very exciting within the Diamond ecosystem. And then we are also catering to the whole payments ecosystem, because over the last 8 to 9 years of my Web3 experience, we are facing those payment hurdles. So we are bringing along an app that's called NitroPay that is built on the quantum infrastructure with the same quantum security on the payment side as well. That would mean that people can easily collect payments, send payments, fiat, crypto, with utilizing virtual IBAN. So it's like a neobank put together and a crypto investment application for individual and businesses. So that's going to be very exciting. And one of my favorite milestone for the quarter four is like we are definitely going to hit 100 plus validators. So we are looking to provide energy as a services, and then we are, in conversations with data centers or a lot of AI data center operators, a lot of compliance, you know, bridges that would make sure that Diamante ecosystems keeps thriving, and we see a lot of developers building on it and a lot of retail users utilizing on a daily basis.
I love this. I think when you mentioned Pump Fund earlier, I think you definitely kind of turned the ear of many crypto participants in this space. And then the fact you also mentioned grants on top of that, right? There is a ton. So, CJ, man, first of all, appreciate all the insight on this. I'm very curious because I myself, I am super duper into AI right now. Is there any sort of AI integration or some sort of AI infrastructure built on top of the security, on top of the quantum side of things? Has that been explored yet?
Absolutely. Earlier, you asked me a question: what were the challenges that we face? And one of the biggest challenge was to optimize things. So I'm very proud of the tech team, my CTO, and all the people who have helped us to build the network. So we have an AI optimizer in place that would allow, us as a network to optimize the cost of it, to optimize the transactions that are happening on it. So AI has played a very big role in developing the quantum proof mainnet that we have. And if I'm not wrong, not just precisely, we have filed like 20 plus US patents on quantum and AI on the AI side of it as well. And there is a lot of work that has gone within the building of the Diamante mainnet, particularly the V2, the quantum proof version of it. So yes, AI is something that is like embedded within the Diamante quantum proof mainnet.
I love this, man. And it just excites me to see how AI is slowly integrating, itself in these type of builds, especially when it comes to security. Um, look, to kind of pivot from this as well, I think one thing is, I think many people from the community in the audience would also wonder this. What's the vision for the Diam token ecosystem as mainnet adoption continues to grow, right? So, what are some of the use cases here for the Diam token?
So majorly, as we are focused on bringing, real life use cases within the Diamond ecosystem. So Diamond Day is a utility token, right? So the more and more the DM token gets utilized within the ecosystem, uh, it makes sure that the token is quite stable, the token is quite progressive. So it has a utility function within it. So, for example, the Minex thing that we had in terms of the integration. So, imagine if there are $3 billion worth of transactions happening on Diamond ecosystem. That would make sure that DM has a lot of use cases and a lot of utility. So, that's just one example. The payment ecosystem utilizes DM native token. Then we have more, like earlier, like I mentioned, like we have more than 150 projects utilizing DM on a regular basis. So DM is more of a utility, and just a key highlight on it. Uh, Around 2021, FINMA, the Swiss Financial Market Supervisory Authority from Switzerland, you know, they gave DM a no action letter stating DM as a utility token. So we are big on the compliance side as well. So being regulated, being recognized as a utility makes sure that more and more adoption happens within the ecosystem, and the more the adoption, the more the utility, and the better and the brighter future for DM as a token.
I love this, man. The fact that you got recognized as a utility token. I mean, how many tokens can say that about their own ecosystems? So, very, very huge, very, very huge. And again, appreciate the insight on that. Um, and again, since we are on the topic of the roadmap side of things, right? Um, you mentioned again going back to the whole the developers, the builders for those guys that are watching this right now. What can they build on Diam today that wasn't possible 6 months ago, a year ago, right? What are some of the builds that you're kind of looking forward to when it comes to the mainnet launch?
So basically, you as a developer, you can build anything that you can imagine, and we encourage that. We want new ideas to be built. The only difference is 6 months ago, you were not able to build on a quantum safe blockchain that was in production, and that is something that you can do right now. You can explore right now. So it's like very simple. You can use like any DeFi protocol or any platform, RWA or any ecosystem that you want to build on, but it would not have those quantum proof signatures and cryptography in place. And with Diamante, with like multi VM in production, you you can make sure you can start exploring, uh, and you can start scratching your brains whatever you want to build with safety, security, and particularly privacy, because Diamante is soon going to have an embedded privacy inbuilt in it, utilizing ZKVM and some of the DeFi protocols as well. So the core DNA of providing safety, security, and privacy within the Web3 space allows builders to build whatever they think of. So that is the best part of it.
It's almost like a playground the way that it comes off to me. We just want people to come in with ideas and build as much, cool things that they want to explore. Um, and also just kind of thinking out loud to myself, I feel like a lot of people still don't acknowledge how important the privacy and the security side is in the crypto space. And I feel like we're starting to really kind of turn the heads of both retail and crypto native users on how important that is to really manage and protect your data. So again, the fact that you guys are kind of pioneering this quantum proof blockchain, this new idea, this new narrative, um, this is only going to encourage more people to look into that type of thing. So love this, CJ man, and again appreciate all the insight on this. So like I said earlier, the question regarding was the roadmap was what are the major milestones between now and the end of the year. My next question is, where do you see the biggest growth opportunities, especially from now to the end of this year, maybe even the next 12 months? Is it going to be geographic? Is it vertical? Is it both? What are you kind of looking forward to here?
So, uh, particularly geographically is something that's definitely going to happen because uh, the roadmap that we have for this year, we are definitely expanding our footprints in different parts of the world, and that's what we have started doing. Uh, this year, in fact, we did three different events with major institutions alongside us in the North American region. So that is something that we have started expanding on. And when you talk about different verticals, right? So there are multiple verticals that Diamond is going to be focused on. The AI marketplace, along with the PerpDex, the payment ecosystem, and my personal favorite is the VPN. So I'm pretty much sure every listener who is listening to this, either they have utilized VPN somewhere in their lifespan or they continue utilizing it for different purposes. So that is going to be our key product to interact with the retail users. And DM has going to be a certain a role to play within the quantum VPN that's currently live and a beta version. So it's going to be soon live in a full version. And right now it's just invite only basis. So we are going to make it more open and more public so that people can start interacting and making sure that their devices are less prone to the quantum attacks, utilizing the quantum VPN powered by Diamond TNTM.
I love this. And again, we're opening it up to everyone, right? I think that's a big key takeaway here. So yeah, this is again the exciting side of things. And since we are talking a little bit about community, um, what does a roadmap look like specifically for Diam holders between now and the end of the year? Again, kind of tailoring to the roadmap question, but is there a specific roadmap for the Diam holders between now and the end of this year?
Yeah. So I would not like to name exactly what's going to happen on the DM roadmap side of it, but just on a lighter note, we are definitely expanding our centralized exchange reach. That would make sure we have more liquidity in place, more accessibility, more on-ramp, off-ramps. So uh, we are in active conversations with a lot of centralized exchanges without naming them, and you would see them unlocking very soon. And we have discussed like a few products, at least three key products like NitroPay, DexPop, the Quantum VPN, that would make sure that DM holders have the first access to these secret products, and they get certain benefits every time they are utilizing those products. As we are quite focused on, making sure DM has maximum utility as its a utility token. So imagine, all this enterprise adoption that we discussed today, the enterprise settlements that would start happening within the Diamond ecosystem utilizing DM. A lot of staking is going to come into the picture, and sooner or later this year, Diamond is also entering the stablecoin ecosystem. So this whole ecosystem development and the macro, become more and more powerful throughout this year. That would make sure that Diamond and DM token has a very good role to play, and effectively positive role within the whole Web3 ecosystem. So with all the narratives around right now, quantum is picking up and like a fire with Coinbase, CZ, Google, or putting their thoughts with multiple papers, tweets, or alliances being formed or roadmaps being formed by founders like Vitalik. That would make sure that Diamond leads the whole quantum narrative, and that would ultimately benefit DM holders as well.
I love this, man. Amazing response to that, CJ. And look, I know we are also coming towards the end of today's stream. So, again, shout out to every single one of you guys that showed up today. We're at 818 viewers. So, we nearly doubled since we last hit the 30-minute mark. So, much love again to everyone that showed up today. Um, and by request by some of the team members, we wanted to give a little quick sneak peek of the website. So I had the website already prepped up here for us to kind of explore. So I'll go ahead and do a little transition here. So this is, and again, this is a handle, guys. It's diamante.io. So for those that are watching, for those that are listening, you guys can check it out there. Um, but yeah, look, I'm on the website right now. I love the aesthetics. Can I first say that? I'm a huge fan of the anime feel to the website. And again, I'm just slowly scrolling down. We can kind of see where you guys are powered by. Of course, a few of the chains that are mentioned. A few also in key metrics such as the TPS. We have the average transaction fees. Um, Again, I highly encourage everyone that is watching and listening, do please check out the website yourself. There is a ton of things to explore here. But while we are on the website, CJ, is there anything specific that you wanted to highlight as users kind of head their way onto this platform? What do you kind of recommend for people to check out here on your guys' website?
So I would definitely, advise like if you are already listening to us and if you're already on the website, diamante.io, just go and do your own research on whatever discussion that we had. Make sure you start exploring the Diamond ecosystem. If you're new to it, start following our X handle to get all the updates in place. And if you are interest side, on the developers document side of it, we have the whole suite of developer documents available on the website for you to start interacting within the Diamond ecosystem. And if you don't find something, honestly, just DM me or any of our team members on Telegram, Twitter. anywhere, and we'll be more than happy to take you through the whole quantum proof journey, the quantum safe chain that is live in production. It's going to make sure that you guys would have a simpler and more easier transition to the coming from different chains from different ecosystems of the Diamond ecosystem.
I love this, man. This is such a beautiful website, by the way. I can scroll through this forever. So well done to the branding team. CJ,
Yeah.
one more or two more questions from my end here that I want to run with you is, you know, I feel like again, you guys are really leading a narrative, the first of its kind. You guys are already live on Mainnet. What would be your message to the builders, the institutions that are still sitting on the sidelines, right? How would you kind of get them onboarded, exposed to the quantum proof blockchain side of things?
So uh, I already started, interacting with a lot of institutions, but we have seen a lot of institutions still taking a back seat in terms of they want to just understand what exactly is quantum, like uh, is the threat real or not. So I would just like to make it more and more simpler for them to understand. When before ETFs, when before a lot of centralized exchanges came to the picture, the people who were very early on Bitcoin, you know, they are they got rewarded in a bigger way, and that's when they became whales, right? So Bitcoin adoption took a longer time. Then we saw Ethereum adoption taking from the smart contracts a bit lesser time. Then we see a lot of other networks like Solana coming in, and the adoption rate was quite higher. People really adopted to it. People got used to it, and we saw a whole pump.fun, those kind of different narratives in the picture. And when throughout the life cycle, it was all about capitalizing on maximizing the rewards within the Web3 ecosystem. But this is not no more about just the rewards. It's about the safety of the assets, safety of the portfolios they have built for their clients, if they are institutions, of their retail, safety of their own assets they are holding. So it's like I would like to mention it again. You don't start building a bunker when there is war. You build it before the war starts. And if you have, those vibes that the war is about to start, you need to start right now. So that's the only message that I have. So like if BlackRock and FBI's and Coinbase and people like Vitalik and CZ are already, starting the race about becoming quantum proof, there is no second thought. Guys should definitely start interacting with it. And the best interaction would be just connect with Diamante.
I love this. I love this, CJ. And the final question towards your way is, what does Diam look like 5 years from now?
I'm not allowed to give any financial advice, and I should not give any financial advice, but Diam has a very bright future. That's what I can say.
I
And we
love this.
just talked about when we just talk about the Bitcoin narrative. So I don't want to say any further.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Man, first of all, CJ, thank you so much for the past hour. Truly. My favorite formats here are these one-on-ones with founders like yourself, and especially tapping into a narrative that is, once again, guys, first of its kind. I've learned a lot today just by asking the questions here. And if you as a listener, you as an attendee that showed up in today's stream, if you found this useful, please follow their X socials. You have it. I have it here listed here on the stream, so you guys can just easily find them. And then also, please follow CJ's X account as well. And you've heard from him earlier. If you guys have any questions, you guys have any comments related to Mainnet or the product itself, you guys can DM the team, or you can also just join their Discord community and leave your feedback there. CJ, once again, thank you so much for your time. Was there anything last minute that we didn't get to talk about, but you just quickly wanted to mention?
So first of all, thank you for your time. It was a wonderful interaction, and I hope a lot of people learn about quantum safety, learn about Diamond Day. If they have any questions, you can always write to us. We have a very super team that is, always, worth. of asking questions. They're very giving, so they make sure your answer questions are answered in a very smooth way. And I think we covered most of it. And always I would like to say this: like we should always skip few things for the next one, so that people keep on coming and listening to us.
I love it. Absolutely. And yes, once again, I want to shout out to Arcadia as well for connecting me with CJ and the Diam team. So you already know, guys, expect a lot of clips, a lot of post content coming from this live stream. So, guys, thank you so much, everyone. We are ending it roughly around 845 listeners. So, again, thank you to everyone that just tapped on today's stream. Even if you stayed on here for a few minutes or if you watched all the way through, it means a lot to myself and CJ here. So once again, follow them on the socials. You have it all listed right there in the bottom right corner. And to everyone that's listening, appreciate your guys' time and effort today. And we will see you guys on the next one. Cheers and peace out, everybody.